Hello, I'm Susan Woods, the self-appointed Black Lives Matter investigator. Well, it's been a year now. I started investigating Black Lives Matter last year, last June, after I tried to make a donation on the blacklivesmatter.com website and became curious about how the money flowed. That's how everything started with me as far as investigating the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, the chapters, and the 501c3 Black Lives Matter entities. Today, I would like for us to explore another area because I'm still trying to answer the question, where is the money? For a year, I've been trying to answer the question, where is the money, or where does the money go when people give money to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, the chapters, or the entities? So, my question now is why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. Why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. And as I studied this question, I came up with 5 reasons why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. And we're going to talk about reason number 1 of 5 in this video. Reason number 1 of 5. 5 reasons Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. 1, no structure. That's what we're going to focus on in this video. The first reason, no structure. But the second reason is no transparency. The third reason, no accountability. The fourth reason, no consequences. And the fifth reason, no next steps. So these are the 5 reasons that I came up with, for lack of a better way to say it, for why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. No structure, no transparency, no accountability, no consequences, no next steps. So let's focus on the first one, no structure. Reason number 1 of 5 is no structure. There is no structure in the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, the way it interacted, past tense, with the chapters and the 501c3 entities. I say past tense because the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation does not have the chapter and entities structure anymore. But we'll get to that later. I don't want to jump ahead. So right now we're talking about reason number 1 of 5, no structure. Normally, nonprofit organizations have a hierarchy or a structure like this one, a visual structure or a visual layout of how the organization is structured in terms of personnel. So the name of the organization is normally at the very top, and in this example is Youth Development Services Incorporated. You normally have your EIN at the very top because it controls your entire organization. And EIN, of course, means Employer Identification Number. And then you have your board of directors. The board of directors governs all of the activities of the entire organization to make sure that it is in compliance with what the leaders promised the IRS the organization would do when they applied for 501c3 status, if they applied for 501c3 status. Then you have the executive director, the director, your level of managers, and then the operations are the jobs that report up to the managers. So in this case, this is a youth development program, or youth development organization rather, and it's offering a program called Mental Agility Boot Camp. So you can look at this hierarchy and kind of understand what are the major focus points of this organization. They're going to have a programs manager, an operations manager that's going to manage logistics and facilities, a marketing manager that's going to manage traditional media and social media, a finance manager that's going to manage accounting and IRS reports, and then a compliance manager that's going to manage human resources and legal issues. So this is an example. Of course, these charts vary depending upon the organization, but the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, and none of its chapters that I investigated had this available for the public to view. And that's the problem. It lets you know there's no structure. You have to have structure. You have to have a chain of command in order to be successful, whether you're operating a nonprofit organization or a for-profit business. These three ladies are the founders of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. They founded Black Lives Matter. From left to right, you have Patrice Coolers, who we've heard a lot about in the media lately regarding the purchase of her $1 million homes. You have Alicia Garza, and then you have Opal Tomate. These are the three women who founded Black Lives Matter, the slogan which became the organization. I'm going to present information in chronological order. So in 2013, the story goes that these three ladies were sitting around talking about the George Zimmerman acquittal. When George Zimmerman was acquitted for killing Trayvon Martin, it is said that they were sitting around talking about how disgusted they were about the verdict, as were so many other people were disgusted about the verdict. They were disgusted about the verdict. So they were talking, and it said that Alicia Garza just came up with the slogan Black Lives Matter. Alicia Garza came up with the slogan Black Lives Matter during their conversation. And it said that then Patrice Coolers added the hashtag Black Lives Matter, added a hashtag to Black Lives Matter to promote it on social media platforms. And that's how it galvanized attention, because people started sharing the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Then they created a website, or reserved the domain for the website, blacklivesmatter.com, and it started generating revenues. Now, I cannot find any record to show how much in revenues they generated in their first year, 2013, but they started generating revenues on the website. And they issued a Black Lives Matter statement on the website. So these things happened in 2013. The George Zimmerman acquittal, which led to the Black Lives Matter slogan, which led to the hashtag Black Lives Matter, which led to the blacklivesmatter.com website, which led to them starting to generate revenues on the website, and then the Black Lives Matter statement that's on the website that lets everybody know what they believe, what Black Lives Matter will represent. So here is the statement. Now, when you go to blacklivesmatter.com, if you click on the About link at the top, it will not display this information. It will display something else. You will have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the home page and click on the About link at the bottom of the page in order to read this information. So this is what they were about when they first started in 2013. Black Lives Matter was founded in 2013 in response to the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. By combating and countering acts of violence, creating space for Black imagination and innovation, and centering Black joy, we are winning immediate improvements in our lives. So that's the main part of the statement. And the source is blacklivesmatter.com. Now, there are some subcategories or subsections of the main statement, and here they are. We are expansive. We are a collective of liberators who believe in an inclusive and spacious movement. We also believe that in order to win and bring as many people with us along the way, we must move beyond the narrow nationalism that is all too prevalent in Black communities. We must ensure we are building a movement that brings all of us to the front. We affirm the lives of Black queer and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all Black lives along the gender spectrum. Our network centers those who have been marginalized within Black liberation movements. We are working for a world where Black lives are no longer systematically targeted for demise. We affirm our humanity, our contributions to this society, and our resilience in the face of deadly oppression. Those are the sub-statements under the main statement. In 2014, Black Lives Matter started exploiting the death of Black people killed by white police officers by traveling to communities to protest, attract the media, and generate revenues. This year, 2014, is when they really started gaining momentum. People really started noticing the signs of Black Lives Matter, started noticing the um, different marches that people were engaged in because they were exploiting the death of Black people like Eric Garner, who died in on July 17th, 2014. You might remember him. He was the man um, who started, unfortunately, the phrase "I can't breathe." Then you had after him Michael Brown Jr., who died on August 9th, 2014. And then you had Tamir Rice, who died November the 22nd, 2014. So in my opinion, this is when Black Lives Matter started exploiting the death of Black people who were killed by white police officers because they knew that would really galvanize a lot of anger, a lot of protest, a lot of people expressing their opinions. And in that way, the more people you have, the more media it will attract. Okay, the more people a protest has, the more media it will attract, and therefore more money that's going to be generated on the blacklivesmatter.com website. So everything is pretty laid out, as you can see, for them to easily abuse the system, easily abuse people. They exploited the death of people because when you talk to people from different families, especially Michael Brown's Jr.'s family, his father is really outspoken about how Black Lives Matter came into Ferguson and just used his son's death to generate revenues and not help the community at all. So this is 2014, and again, I am using a chronological timeline to work our way up to understanding why Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow. So, in summary, reason number one that Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow is no structure. The Black Lives Matter founders did not use a formal structure to establish the Black Lives Matter organization. Instead, they allowed the Black Lives Matter chapter leaders to organize and govern themselves without any guidance. Unfortunately, this decentralized approach led to the implosion of Black Lives Matter. That's what happened. It is imploding right now. Black Lives Matter is imploding because they started off in the wrong way. They intentionally decided, the founders intentionally decided not to have any form of structure. In the early website statement, way before the one that I shared, I couldn't find the original one, they emphasized their desire not to have structure. They emphasized their desire not to be governed and monitored by any entity. It was planned. And therefore, they did not mandate that the Black Lives Matter chapter leaders have any structure either. So we have chaos right now, and it is imploding. So next, we're going to talk about reason number 2 of 5 that explains why Black Lives Matter money is hard to find, or hard to follow rather. No transparency. We're going to start with the year 2015, and we're going to talk about how Black Lives Matter really started generating revenues and how they started accounting for the revenues, and the lack of transparency that they provided the community. No one knew what was going on with the money. So we're going to dig deeper into the second reason that Black Lives Matter money is hard to follow, and that is no transparency. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your support. Have a great day.